Hello, design. Let's make our second cell phone design. So just like last time, we're going to go to create a design, and I'm going to do custom dimensions, and I'm going to put in 1080 by 1920 because that's the size of my cell phone. People have asked, hey, can I make a background for my personal device such as a Chromebook? I have a personal iPad, other things. That's fine. It's totally fine. I don't have any of these things. Make something up. Use 1080 by 1920 like Mrs. Varela. The cool thing about it is just that you can apply this thing that you're making to something that you own. So that's what the cool thing about this is, that you can adapt it to that for functional use. So I'm going to hit create design. Again, make sure it's pixels. And one of the three things that we need to have is a pattern. So on the left here, I'm going to go down to where it says background and select it. Maybe. So let me go to backgrounds. There we go. All right, so if we scroll down, you can see that there is patterns. So I'm going to go to see all. And the awesome thing about some of these, and you can tell that are already vector, is that when I select them, kind of puts it in there, and I can actually change the color so that it goes along with my color scheme. So bam, I already have my pattern, okay, for 1 out of 3, done. All right, so investigate all the different kinds of patterns you have, and you could always go back and change the color, okay? The next thing I want you to investigate is color. So I'm going to go to styles, okay? And where on the very top you'll see set your brand colors, and that means that you could actually, pick the colors that you want for this design and kind of leave it here. And then also when you're changing colors over here, you'll also see it in the little pop-up. Okay, so there are some trending down here. A lot of these don't actually look like they would fit with our color schemes, maybe grotesque. But I'm going to hit set your brand colors. I'm going to hit the plus. And then down here it says brand colors, color scheme. And I'm going to hit plus. And I can actually choose colors this way. All right, so I want purple, and then I want green, and then I want, red or whatever. You could also go to add and discover palettes. Okay, so you could just keep going, and there's some really pretty ones. So there's already some already created, all right? And then you could select one, and that will be added, okay? So then I can go back to my recent designs, and this is what I was creating. All right, and so when I want to create an element, oh, there's my background. Notice that in colors, we can see that there's a color scheme that I made. Here's that one that I just saw. All right, so those are all things that I can actually put, on my design. So that's really cool. Okay, so that's how you can kind of make your color scheme, and then it will always be there when you're actually changing colors of objects and stuff like that. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you, okay, for this one, I am going to allow you to use lines. And I'm going to go back to elements, and I'm going to let you use shapes, okay? The only shapes you cannot use are ones that are representational. So a heart represents a heart, a star represents a heart, or a star represents a star. A hand, right? An arrow. Those are things I could say, this represents that, okay? A thought bubble. None of those would work as we go further down, okay? But random shapes, yeah, like you could use some of these. Okay, so I'm going to let you use shapes in this one and lines. All right, but this time I wanted to show you, we're talking about balance, and a lot of the times you want to make sure that it's perfectly symmetrical. How do I do that? Okay, so for example, I'm going to add 2 circles here. Okay. And the first thing I want to do is, it's kind of nice when I'm like actually moving stuff around, it's kind of showing me if it is aligned to each other, okay? But then I can, you guys can't click and select over it, you'll have to hit shift on your blue keyboard, And you can actually group two objects together. And then next to that, where it says position, I can position it to the center, to the left, to the right, to the bottom, to the middle. So you really want to use this position feature where you can align things to the page, okay? And you don't have to group them. I'm just giving you that example of like if you want two things to be equal to the page and centered, you can make a group of objects. So you can align things to each other, position. Maybe I want these two things to be centered to each other. So I can say center, you know, to that. And you can move that stuff around. Okay, so same idea as last time. You're going to go to your elements and you're going to find a one color element. I like monoline, but again, you can pick anything and you're just going to crop it. So I'm going to bring that over and I'm going to duplicate it. And I noticed that I'm on the computer. If you guys don't see these things right here, you should see like a library and then dot, dot, dot right here. And then you'll be able to see all of these things if you're on your iPad and you don't see all of them. All right, so now I can crop part of this into like an abstract shape. All right, and now I can resize it. And after I select the color, again, you can see all the color schemes that I picked before. And this is how, again, you're going to make your composition. Okay, so remember, it has to have a pattern background, which I accidentally changed. All right, it has to have a color scheme. All right, warm, cool, monochromatic, triad, analogous, one of those. And then the design has to be balanced. So it can be perfectly symmetrical. One side's the same as the other side. Okay, same mirror reflection. Okay, or asymmetrical, where maybe I take some things and I balance it out with some smaller things of another object. Okay, or I could have radial, where everything's coming from the center. So you get to decide what kind of balance that you want. Okay, when you're all done, remember that everything should be first name, last name. This is your design to, and then today's date, and then file, and then save. So if you're done, then you'll actually download it, put it in your Google Drive in your library. But if you're still working on it, coming back to it, then you just hit save. All right, cool.